Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I was just looking at my phone to help a fellow MA2 learner out in the Facebook group. Wait, you can also have that level of support, friendly community that helps you when you get stuck, and it's all free? Oh, yes, it is. Go down to the video description and join our Facebook group. With that being said, hello, my name is Jonas. Today we're going to take a look at the align functionality and the through button. Two things which really help you to build cooler looks to incorporate into your effects, presets, and sequences. And let me just give me just a second. Much better. In a group of people learning lighting stuff, the lighting should be good. All right, here we go. Last week we looked at presets and I showed you how you can create presets and use them in your effects and then also in your sequences. But one thing we also discovered is that putting together good position presets, for example, is a real hassle. And today we're going to actually see one functionality that can really help you out with that. I'm still going to do an advanced preset programming tutorial for positions at one point in time, but today we're actually going to see a first real helper in that regard, and that's the align button right up here. So first of all, let's off everything. So press the off button 2 times and then hit this sequence. When you see more in that list, just click on it until you see no items. That means nothing is running. And like that, we can actually fully concentrate on just programming. All right, I'm also going to go ahead and delete all of these just to kind of have a clean slate. I'm also going to get rid of those. All right, and now we just have our position presets right here. Cool. So last week we also created these 2 groups just to help us out with quicker programming. By the way, if you just joined the series, there's the show file from last week in the video description. So if you want to follow along, just download the show file. If you don't have it already, set it up. If you need any help, go back to the first episode of this series. Cool. So to show you the align function, what we first need to do is actually just create a simple row of fixtures. So last week we created this group right here. Again, the highlight functionality is there to help you see which fixtures you have selected, and it will set the dimmer value on that. But careful with it, you won't be able to see any of your colors or real dimmer values. So when you start programming with dimmer values, make sure to turn this off. It's perfect for positions though. Now the align function up here is a really great tool. Let me just first tilt this out a little bit. All right, well, I don't know, like that. All right. The align function will actually take your fixture selection and will spread the values that you enter in the programmer via the encoders, and it will actually spread out the values across your whole range. And it will do that based on different directions. So here, what it does, it actually extends all these values and sort of stretches out your value range to the right, then to the left, then towards the middle, or from the middle out rather, and towards the middle. And the problem is, now if we use this for our pan attribute, for example, you can see that these fixtures down here, they sort of go in one direction, and these fixtures up there go in another. So you can't really tell what align is doing here, and that's because these fixtures are actually flipped. So that doesn't really help us. So first thing, what we need to do is actually create 2 more groups for these fixtures, just to be sure that we can use the align functions on fixtures that actually are hung up in sort of the same orientation. So this is our first row. Let's just store this down here. I'm not even going to bother to give this any labels at this point. And then let's just store this right here. All right, click on that one, tilting it out just a little bit. And now we can start to discover the align function. So first, let's do this one. And the way that I actually remember what these different directions mean is that the value on the left hand side is actually the smallest, and then it always increases toward the right. So now when we go pan, you can see that this first fixture is not moving at all, while this last fixture is actually moving out the most. And what's interesting is that if I enter 90 now, or rather if I try to enter 90, you can see right here that the first fixture is at some value called center, while the last one is at 83. And that's also why we are going to take a look at this through keyword, because this is the first time that you're going to see it. So now, again, while we move these around, the first fixture is not moving at all, while the rest of the fixtures, pretty much the last fixture, will take this value that you put in here, and then all the fixtures in between are spread evenly across this value. All right, let's just enter a hard value in here again. Actually, just not 90, 0. Let's take a look at the second one. Again, now we have the opposite case. So the last fixture will have the smallest value, and then the first fixture will have the greatest value. So now what we should see is that if we go ahead and pan this, then the first fixture in our selection actually goes ahead and receives that pan that you enter in here. And I'm not sure why it doesn't show at the moment. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Oh, here we go. So now you can see, just like in the first case, only vice versa. Let me just reselect them so that the display works again. Let's tilt these out a little bit. All right, then the next case, what we have here is this one. So now, again, in this case, in the middle of your selection, the smallest values will be, and then it extends out to the sides. And that's really cool. Now, if you see what's happening right here, the outer fixtures actually move in while the fixtures in the middle just stay the way they are. So like that, you can really nicely sort of, focus a set of beams or spread them out, and spreading out is a good point. That's the next option, right? So now you can see the middle fixture is moving, but not the ones on the outside. And that's a really, really cool feature to use. So now if you wanted to replicate this look of kind of moving all of these fixtures from this row and that row towards this cube in the middle, now what we do is actually select these, bring them up to the level where we think that they will actually be pointed at the part of this cube where Joel, our artist in this case, will be standing. And now let's do it like that. So what we want to do is we really want to bring in the outer fixtures. So let's go ahead and pan this in just like that, tilt it up a little bit. And what you just saw too is once you kind of switch attributes, align automatically turns off, and that's a really good thing. So now let's go back here to align and bring this behind the cube a little more. All right, let's take our second group of fixtures. Let's tilt them down a little bit. I think that roughly, yeah, that should be good. Now again, bring the align button, and then, nope, that was the right. Nope, that's perfect. Yeah, just like that. Cool. And now tilt it down a little bit. And now when we view both of them, that actually looks really nice, I think. Still not a very clean preset, but now what you would do is actually, hold on. Ugh. Delete. Still not a very nice preset, but what you would do now, which is so much better, is actually next your way through these individual fixtures, and now you would just have to do minor changes. So this one is maybe a little too far out. Let's bring it back in a little bit by adjusting the pan. And then next your way through it, still, maybe a little too far out, maybe a little too low in this case. You get the idea. Just press set again, and now you see the full picture. So this is a really cool way. Align is a great way to get a rough thing going, especially in terms of positions. That's a really, really cool tool. That's invaluable, seriously. Now the next functionality in terms of align is actually whatever you like it to be. So let's select our top fixtures again up here. I'm going to turn off highlight. That's really important. And now let's see what happens when we try to set the dimmer. It's kind of creepy that it doesn't show the value in here, but we can see now we're at 0 through 85. And I'm not sure what's happening right here. Come on, MA2, get your shit together. All right, but essentially the same thing applies to the dimmer as to the presets, the position presets. Now, with dimmer, it's sort of hard to use, actually, I think. It's sort of a pain in the ass. So what you want to do instead is maybe go 0 through 100, and now you can see the first fixture is actually at 0, and then it goes all the way up to 100. Now, one thing I didn't know about for the longest time, shut up Windows, is actually that you can use multiple through statements. So go 0 through 100 through 0. And now what happens is really cool because it actually highlights the middle fixtures the most, and then the outer fixtures both get down to 0. And that's really cool, I think. Let's just store that in an empty executor slot. And I'm actually going to reverse this now. I'm going to go 100 through 0 through 100. And I'm going to store this as the second step. Create second queue. Going to go in here. I'm going to set, I don't know, let's set this to follow and just add a fade value of 0.5. And now let's see what happens. Well, it doesn't really look too great in that case because these fixtures over here, they don't really do anything. But I mean, in general, it's a really nice look, I think. And you can do that with anything. Let's just turn this off again. Maybe another example before I let you go is LED bars. So let's just, oh, we have them right here. Thank God. All right, let's set the dimmer to full, add, and then color. Let's do the following. We're going to go to special dialog and pick out a nice shade of red maybe. Let's make this 10. Again, this is where pen and paper comes in really handy because we're going to actually write down this first color, 100, 10, 0. You could probably also be doing this perfectly with presets. And then the second thing, yeah, let's go like that, like a nice sort of violet. So 30, 0, 100. And again, now what we can do is actually go in here and then take your cheat sheet and just go 100 through 30 on the red channel, then 10 through 0 on that next channel, and then 0 through 100 on that blue channel. And now what we created, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most favorite design aspects of modern web development and modern web design. It's a fucking gradient. Isn't that nice? Again, let's just store this somewhere and reverse all of that. Here we can already see it, 100 through 30. Cool. Let's go 10 through 0. And then 100 through 0. And now it should be reversed. Let's create a second queue, clear out our programmer. And again, let's go in here, set this to follow. Fade time of 0.5. And let's play it back. It's a really subtle effect, but I think it looks really, really nice. And that's it for what I wanted to show you about the align button and the through keyword. They're both really closely related to each other because the align button actually only enters values with this through range, and it allows you to kind of add this through range or apply this through range of values to fixtures using your encoders. And so like that is a really intuitive way, while the later tricks that we did with the through keyword actually required us to enter hard values and sort of use a number, keypad, whatever. It's sort of not, such an intuitive way as just using your encoders with this align button. But both of these things give you a great flexibility in terms of, how you can actually set ranges of values to use in your sequences and effects, which I think makes for really, really interesting looks. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like it. Leave a comment down below with feedback, questions, ideas, whatever. And also do me a huge favor and subscribe. It would be awesome. With that being said, my name is Jonas, and I'm really excited to see you next week. So until then, have a good one and practice, practice, practice. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.